So look, you guys just need to raise your awareness to the fact that you're all getting played right now. Just know that this these filters online are so funny. Look at it messing with my lips. Anyways, they've been putting these mask filters up for like the last 2 years straight, and then now there's this COVID stuff, and you're not realizing that it was this giant controlled opposition because they're literally putting in front of your face that you're fighting for the last right that you have, which is freedom of speech. And that's why you don't see my real account up anymore, because they permanently disabled my account that had over 10 million followers through 100 different pages between Wake Masses, Gwen Towers, Giant Trees, Straw Man Unlocked, The Living Man in the Flesh, Flat Earth Fight Club, and just like 100 others, Frequency Weaponry. All those pages and groups are gone now. And my two main accounts, Kirby Foster and Monk Xylio, you can see recaps of how I think and just the thoughts that I have on YouTube. So you can find me on YouTube. But now I'm here on my Monk Orgonite account, and I've already gotten flagged like 5 times for talking about just missing children around the world, how there's 100,000 children missing all the time, how when Child Protective Services takes a child away from the family, they make $90,000 a month for their corporations, and it's just a big scheme. And I am part of the Great Awakening, and I spend my free time here to help people raise their awareness and wake masses. And if you want to know about who I am and my background, well, look at my soul, you know what I mean? Because I don't think my college degrees defy anything. I don't think the fact that I know how to do good business really defies anything. I have an awareness for the fact that there's a frequency tower being built in your backyard that can literally induce a desired state of consciousness. And you can look up the government patents on this. There's Gwen Towers on every block being popped up that can affect your way of thought, can make you feel stressed out, depressed, and give you negative thoughts all day. It can literally download onto your brain thoughts, download onto your brain psychological torture, almost like a tell-lie vision, telling you visions of lies. But it's real stuff. I mean, there's technology today where you could be standing in front of a screen like you're on a roller coaster, and they can shoot these EMF waves into your body, which are radiation and cause cancer and cause brain damage, but it makes you feel like you're on the roller coaster. You know what I'm saying? But I thought that I'd just pop in and say hi, because I miss so many of you truthers. I could see some of my friends list, like Mikey Foley and Austin Zaruba and Bro Stranik and Ash Panessa and Jim Jam and Sasha and Leah and Justin and Michael and Wayne and Heather and Alyssa. Just all you truther friends that I had 5,000 friends on my Facebook, all truthers, and they're all gone now because I can't access the Mr. Kirby Foster account. So if you ever try to look up Mr. Kirby Foster, facebook.com, Mr. Kirby Foster, it's gone. And so were all the pages and all the groups that I was number one admin in. I think I did get a few people off onto admin in most cases, but other than that, I'm not seeing anything, But I just wanted to say hello, and that, I'm still fighting that fight every day, everywhere I go, bringing it up at the dinner table, explaining to people how, we live in a corrupt society. It's hard to bring up to new people, but again, I do plant the seeds. I talk about, I try to say I'm into curious things that are very intriguing, like our alphabet, and why is English the only language being taught in different cultures all around Earth? Because it refers directly to Black Law's dictionary. And you get arrested, what you say can and will be used against you, because words are meaningful. They actually are like spells and hexes and cursives, i.e. cursing, right? Curses, sixes in your loops. Anyways, we can get into that in another time. But words mean things, and they don't necessarily mean what you think they mean. Do you understand? So do you connect with what I'm saying, or do you stand underneath me? right? So stuff like that, like when you go into the court of law and you're speaking, they're not listening to Old English. They're listening to you in what's called legalese language, where one specific word has 9 different meanings. Hence the Black Laws Dictionary in 9 different series. They can go to any Black Law dictionary and interpret a word to be anything they want it to be, because English is upside down, inside out, and backwards. It's Latin, Greek, and Hebrew origin. So the sounds that you're making, like these sounds that my throat chakra is exerting, is literally creating, um, like, you're imprisoned to your mind through your language alone. So you might want to pick up a book, and you might want to do some research, and you might want to learn a little bit of Black Laws Dictionary and legalese language and your all caps fictitious persona name. So people are like, why the fake name? Well, really? Monk Organite, you think that's a fake name? What's a fake name is Kirby Foster in all capitalized letters, because that's a fictitious persona. They're saying it's a business entity, so they own it. I'm a lost dead vessel floating at sea through maritime law, and Kirby James Foster in all capital letters is nothing but that Capitista Monaco, you know, do research on 1666 Sesteque Trust. And slavery never really existed the way people think. It was massively introduced. Hence today why we're having this stuff happen with us. They're so far ahead of us with this technology. It's biotechnology on a nano scale. So you're able to literally eat or drink or just breathe in what's called smart dust and nanoparticles, and then all these heavy metals in our food and all these GMOs in our food. They directly link with like your Wi-Fi and your 5G and your cell phones. You know, if you ever pay attention to the fact of the matter, you can be talking about something, and then your cell phone will start picking up. Your cell phone will start picking up like what you're talking about, and it'll show you ads about what you're talking about. And to me, I think it's not to scare people with. Like, I don't want to scare people, but I'm here to like help raise awareness. And I got burnt out on the fact that Fedbook, Mr. Zuckerberg, was getting upset that I was helping people raise their awareness on a mass scale. I'm talking maybe 10 million people I had following me through my networks and my alias names and my alias Facebook pages and groups. I had over 200,000 people in specific pages liking my stuff. I had 200,000 people I had the Flat Earth Society by Flat Earthers, that was me. Flat Earth Fight Club, that was me. Wake Masses was me. Like, all these groups and pages that I was using, they permanently disabled them. And I called Facebook support, and I kept asking Facebook support, like, can you, I'm a real Facebook user, I'm sorry I didn't obey by your standards, but it won't happen again. And they said that I was posting things that will cause violence. They said something about my posts were going to make it so people would hurt each other. And I'm just like, what? I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, what am I saying that's going to make people hurt each other? And are they talking about a revolution? Are they talking about people that are being harmed and not knowing that they're being harmed? You're being harmed through your law. You're being harmed through your medical centers. And, I'm sorry to have to be the one to tell you that, but go look at the symbol of what you see at the hospital with a Moses staff, like with a wizard's warlock staff with a snake wrapped around it. And do the research. I'm sorry to have to tell you that, but that's what potions and brews come from. It's a witchcraft, just like your alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Those letters are actually sigils, but it just takes somebody, you either know or you don't. You're not going to just, math and science, real math and real science, not pseudoscience, not Freemasonry, witchcraft, or mind control, but real observation, what you can see, like with your 5 basic animal senses, what you can see, hear, taste, and touch, and feel, teaches you that, geocentric Earth is the truth, that infinite energy is real. There's no such thing as nothingness. The word nothing, by definition, does not even exist. It's not even real. There's no such thing as nothing. We are infinite beings. Soul energy is real, and if everyone would follow their heart, we would have a more sacred matrix to exist in. Or I could say Earth, you know what I mean? I don't say world, I don't say globe. Those aren't real things, you know? But Earth is a real thing. And I think that there's more than what we know. We're in the center on a ring, not able to go past the 90th parallels on our plane that we exist. So we don't know what's in the center Earth. We don't know what's there. We don't know what our compasses are pointing at. And we sure as hell don't know what's around the Arctic Circle. And I did not say pole. I don't believe the bottom of a ball. I'm telling you an Arctic Circle, hence a circle, a plane, a ring. You know what I'm saying? So there's obviously more land. There's obviously more earth. There's obviously more water. There's obviously giants. You know, I grew up not believing in giants. I grew up not believing in dragons either. I grew up believing in dinosaurs. And I now know that it's flipped, you know. If you want to believe in anything, believe in reptiles and reptilian culture. And, you know, it's not just about green people like they talk about online through those conspiracies. Piracy of cons, come on. You know what I'm saying? That's not even a word either. What are you saying? I'm not a con. I'm not swindling you and raping you and taking over your village. I'm not pirating you. Conspiracy, that's not even a word. You know what I mean? So, to me, I'm just wanting to reach out to you guys and say hello. I kind of stick to myself. I kind of roll solo. You know, I try to stay in a position where people can look up to me, but at the same time, some people just are not going to do that because they're afraid. They're afraid of the truth. They're afraid of learning about geocentric dimension. They're afraid of understanding and overstanding that the fact that this realm we live in is not what they think it is. I know that for thousands and thousands of years, basic observations and common senses led mankind to believe Earth was flat for thousands of years. It's only changed some 500 years ago. And the reason why everyone's believing on that giant spinning ball is because, you know, Satanism and Luciferianism and, you know, dark arts and death and the worship of it has kind of overpowered our entire way of life and society. A good point my own mother always likes to bring up because she gets so confused when I talk about some of this stuff because she's so old school is like, she says that when she believes, this is what my mother says, she believes that when we pass over or move on, when we die, which I don't believe in death, that's only a human construct, but when your energy leaves your body, right, you then reattach to all of the rest of your brain that you couldn't use. You're only using 5% of your brain power and your neurological system. So she believes that when you leave this body, you become attached to all that. And I truly believe that too. That makes perfect sense. I just think that over the last 7,500 years, we've been eradicated from our higher mind and our thoughts and our empathy, our pineal gland inside of our brain, which allows us to be empathic, which is the sixth sense. And we all have it, whether you want to believe it or not. Otherwise, you wouldn't have feeling. Otherwise, you wouldn't have deja vus, or you wouldn't have a feeling to make a phone call to somebody, or when you meet somebody new and it's like you totally click on so many different levels. There's something more there. Like you've met them, you know them because they've always existed and they're in your last life like they are in this life and they'll be in your next life. You know, just like if you have a true soulmate and they cheated on you and they can't be your soulmate now because they fucked it up in this life. So you guys are going to keep living your lives in cycles of complete torture until you wake your mind up, until you raise your awareness, until you become sort of a guru and know how to just, you know, be silent and listen to the universe around you. Universe, the verse of you within, right? Because it doesn't have to be an external thing. The universe can be something that's within you. You know, the pictures that NASA sends you, those look like the same type of microscopic pictures inside your brain, or when your neurological system is communicating and firing signals through your body that, you know, they're actually, it looks like what you would know as outer space. But full circle, I don't think outer space is what people think it is. I don't think the stars and the moon and the sun are far away. Earth does not move. There's 200 different verses in the Bible that explains the sun and moon move around us. There's also proof and evidence with your own eyes and observation to see that the sun is not what lights the moon up. The moon is its own light source. And we could just go on and on and on. There's so much truth to being eradicated for our minds. We're all living a lie. So, of course, people trigger. You know what I'm saying? They start getting mad. They start getting upset. You know, they don't understand that there's pedophile islands with elites taking children through CPS agencies who are supposed to protect children, who really just are built to tear their family apart. And just so much stuff in between. You know what I mean? They, you know, I don't even know, where I really want to go with it, but when you arise every day, think of what a privilege it is to be alive and to think and to enjoy and to love, like seriously, like raise your awareness, If you miss me, you're welcome to reach out to me. I'm again Monk Zylio, Zylio on YouTube. I'm Kirby Foster on YouTube. I'm Wake Masses on YouTube. And, all those 100 pages, if you were one of my followers on there, I'm sorry, but they're gone. Just like that. They're gone. Now, I got thousands of memes and photos and, evidence and proofs and mini books that I've wrote just for the betterment of the souls of Earth, raising their awareness to these things. And if you're interested in talking about them, I'm here, But, just felt like I should get on live and say hello because I haven't been able to do this in over 6 months. When I was doing live videos on Kirby Foster, the last one that I did before it shut down my live video conferencing is that I was showing obelisks and pyramid cities, like entire cities looking like the shape of circuit boards, entire cities with satanic symbology, like entire cities shaped like Satan. You can't tell me that that's just something to ignore or just a coincidence. There's no such thing as coincidences in this life. I'm telling you that right now. And then I did a video interview on a ground wave emergency network tower installer, one of those guys climbing up those fake trees and posts and installing what looks like rectangular emitters because they're emitting frequency radiation waves. These things are connecting to your cell phones, your Wi-Fi. They see us. They're using it as biometrics, so they can see where you're at, where you're driving. If you're asleep, if you're awake. These things are so intense that not only can it create a desired state of consciousness onto you, but it can literally surveillance you. It can surveillance your thoughts. It can surveillance the way that your mind is programming and how your neurological system is shooting. It can tell if you have good or bad thoughts. That's how intense some of this technology is. It's like 500 years ahead of us. 500 years. The same 500 years that people have been using to believe that they think they're a monkey spinning on a ball of water with magma in the middle with no seal of a, containment for vacuumness, nothingness, infinite nothingness space, and you're a speck of a virus. Nothing. You just mean nothing. And there's no hope, and you just die, and that's the end. And I'm telling you, that is so far from the truth. It's probably the exact opposite of that. But I tell you what, awakening is not changing who you are, but disregarding who you are not. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, you don't turn the news on and like I posted a meme the other day, or even I think it might have been today, but it was like the husband shooing off the wife, and he was like, "Be quiet, I'm watching CNN, I'm waiting for them to tell me what to think." And I was walking down the grocery store the other day, and I heard two ladies talking, and they were just like, "The news isn't telling us anything. We just really want to know what's going on, And they're like wearing their masks that don't do anything but keep them breathing in their own carbon monoxide and literally dying a slow death and keeping them with respiratory issues and heart problems. And those masks don't do anything. They don't do absolutely anything. It even says it on the side of the box. So just understand COVID ID, COVID ID is really a biometrics mass surveillance multi-trillion-dollar program to keep the entire world enslaved so that we can have a one world government and what's called a New World Order, which started back in 1776. We're not going into a New World Order. We are already here. Martial time law, right? Like Walmart, right? Walmart, like martial law, Walmart. Even FEMA owns Walmart, and they have facilities and biochips, and they're the ones pushing the masks and making you stand 6 feet apart when you go shopping there, and you're going into the DMV, which is how they registrar you to Great Britain under the Queen as an owned slave. So, and then if you look at your birth certificate, if you look at your it's a certificate, it's a bond, it's a banking bond. If you look at your license, your lie of your senses, all of it's in capital letters. It's Capitis Demonicus. It's not who you are. You're not a piece of paper. Your identity is your blood and flesh in the flesh. The soul energy speaking out of my chakra energy is who you are, who I am, right? I'm not this fictitious persona on paper. I'm not this lie of senses. And I could probably just go on and on and on. But all this, everything to me in this truthing world, it has nothing to do with conspiracy. It has nothing to do with, like theory. It's not theoretical. We're speaking in facts here. You know what I'm saying? But you have to understand that equanimity, you know what I'm saying? It arises when we accept the things the way they are. And honestly, we're accepting things the way they are negatively and falsely. This is not the way things are. They're making us believe this is the way things are. When I say they, I mean people that are holding knowledge from us that don't want to share it with other people, secret societies, people who are doing bad things against basically God's commandments without bringing religion into it. Just think along the lines of God's commandments. And when I say God's commandments, I mean thou shalt not kill. You know what that means? That means you can't kill trees, and you can't kill animals, right? And you can't have wars and be killing each other. So imagine a world where we would actually allow food to grow. Anywhere there's a lawn, imagine it was food. Like an entire lawn in someone's front yard. Or even in apartment complexes. It doesn't matter where you live. There's grass somewhere close to you. Imagine if that was all food. The world would not know hunger. You know what I'm saying? The world wouldn't be hunger, and then, there's just all these contexts where, hundreds of thousands of kids across the earth go missing every day. And they don't just go missing, do research on celebrities and elites and politicians wearing red shoes, representing the blood of innocent children being sacrificed for Satanism, and to maintain a knowledge and a control over people. There's tons of, there's blackmail in this type of stuff, you know what I mean? They'll come in, they'll recruit you, they'll teach you some of the truths to be a god of this earth, which is really a Satan of this earth, because man is only man. You can't be God, right? You're not, God isn't within all things. So, you're living a lie. But, do some research on that. Do some research on adrenochrome. They throw it in your face. Monsters Inc. with little kids screaming, and then they're taking their little scream into a jar and using it to harness energy. It's the same thing. Adrenochrome, they take the glands from the back of the head inside of the brain when a child is extremely scared and tortured, and they drink that blood, and it's not a joke. Whether that blood actually makes you younger and opens up your mind to infinite power and stuff like that, you're still killing. You know what I mean? You're still going against God's commandments. And when they leave this world and they leave their body, and they're not going to be forgiven for their sins, as you would say. I don't like to use those words because I don't want to talk religiously, but religion in itself, the word, makes me cringe. Ra's Legion, Ra's Legion, that's Satan's army. And how are there 13 different religions split into 37 different categories, making 39,000 different belief systems worldwide? Hinduism and Buddhism are a great example. They have millions of followers with no real God, just good ideas in ideologue contexts. So what religion is real? What religion isn't real? I suggest you go live a couple hours of listening to B.O.B., the rapper, B.O.B., the rapper. Listen to his album Earth. Let me see here, like B.O.B. Earth online. Let me see here. I can't turn the camera around. I was gonna show you B.O.B. Earth. It's like called, I forget what the name of the actual educational avatar reality. Something like that. That's what the Earth in it stands for. Educational avatar reality training habitat. I don't even know. You know what I'm saying? But you need to go listen to that full album. And whether or not he's controlled opposition or has a Freemason father that allowed him to rap about this stuff, because it's not mainstream, you won't hear it on the radio. But I'm telling you right now, it'll at least help you raise your awareness a little bit to what's going on across our earth, and you know what's going on.
Nigga, what you talking about? Talk is talk, and do is do shit people talk about.
Under the Dome, Stack of Dreams. Look up Sadhguru. You know, look up this dude, Sadhguru. His it's SADHGUR. It's him in the background right now. SAD, right? HGURU. Look him up, and then do some time. You can look up Kirby Foster and Monk Xylio for sure, but go look up ODD TV. ODD, like odd, and then TV. He's got like 300,000 subscribers. Watch everything that this man posts. He does great videos. He's a great start for like putting your mind into this stuff and raising your awareness. I've never heard him talk about biometrics and mass surveillance. A lot of these people, I never hear him talk about what Freemasons and politicians and secret societies study, which is legalese language, like I was telling you before. The witchcraft of the languages of people, and how, you know, what you're speaking isn't really what you're saying, and we're actually hexing and cursing each other just in an average everyday conversation. You get that? Averse of conning one another. Anyways, that's some deep knowledge. But I think that you guys should join me in waking the masses, you know? Wake masses, family. Wake masses. Study geocentric Earth. Page 1 of the Bible, right? And the voice of God spoke into existence. So let's talk about a frequency, right? And then he said, and then page 1, again, Genesis, and they were, it was of the deep, right? Not deep space, man. The face of the waters. It was deep waters. The sky is blue. It's not black. It's blue. At night, it's navy blue. It's like deep waters. It's water, right? And even what you believe air to be, what we breathe, is a liquid. We're breathing liquid. We're not breathing gas right now. Clouds are gas. The oxygen that is going through our lungs in our system is a less dense form of liquid. We live and exist in a liquid, you know. Water, H2O, is just denser, so we can't breathe in it. You know what I'm saying? But liquid oxygen at the levels that we exist, and the carbon monoxide mixed with it, we breathe in this liquid, full circle. We used to live 7,500 years ago. We used to live in a silicon-based environment, and we used to breathe in silicon, pure oxygen. And I believe, I don't like to say believe, be of all lies, be live, believe. I know that there used to be giants, that animals and creatures and food, and you can find mushrooms and snakes and trees, and you can find turtles, you can find giant people, 34 feet tall. People are like, oh, Guinness Book of World Records, the tallest man to ever exist is 7 feet. No, no. You can find real skeletons that the Vatican and other, the Macedonian or whatever, these huge entity, Tartarian-like built structures will go. If you find something like a giant, they'll come and take those bones and take them and eradicate them from history, his story. So you got to look into mud floods and we have the technology today to raise ocean waters. There's called this machine called SBX-1, literally can raise ocean waters 200 feet over coastlines. There's another machine out there called HAARP, High Aurora. It's like a frequency weaponry antenna where they're shooting up, billions of watts of energy into the ionosphere. And again, it's not a sphere. Well, the torus field above us, the dome, is a sphere. It's not being bounced off of a ball Earth. It only works, this HAARP machine, on a flat geocentric plane. So they're shooting this on a pinpoint location, like one of those like a microscope, like a magnifying glass, and they're heating up and moving the atmosphere from low to high pressures. They can create rain, they can create tsunamis, they can create earthquakes, and a lot of people aren't ready for this. You're not ready for this knowledge, and I can see it in people's soul when I talk to them and they can't hold a conversation. People say they want spirituality, but they don't even know what that means. Soul and spirits are one and two different things. Spirits come and go. Spirits can be manifested. A spirit can be created. A spirit can be manipulated. A spirit can be controlled. A spirit can be summoned. But soul energy, God energy, soul energy is forever. Your soul energy can't be fucked with. If you only knew, the soul cannot be fooled. You know what I'm saying? Spirit, like you take a spear and you destroy it and kill it. Spirit is not necessarily a good word in language, syntax, grammar, code. You know what I'm saying? But soul energy is infinite energy, and it is good energy, and it is what allows us to exist. So anything else is on a level of destruction. Now, secret societies and queens and kings and elites and politicians who learn about this and know how to use their mind will manipulate and blackmail people into thinking that it's a balance, that there is no bad you can do and all things bad are forgiven. And to an extent, there is some trueness to it because it's happening right before our eyes, all the way down to us cropping as farmers. You know what I mean? They just don't let the damn trees grow. Apples fall off the tree and you can eat them. You know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of death in this life that we exist, and it's because they don't want you to know who you really are. They don't want you to know how powerful you truly can be. They don't want you to know any of these things that I'm speaking of right now. And I know I'm going all over the place and I'm bouncing around, right? But honestly, I get blocked and banned and disabled from speaking this information to people. And trust me, I know it's a lot. Like, I've had relationships fall out because I know this knowledge and I try to stay extremely motivated and positive and don't let my mind clog up with depression or Gwen Towers or pills or doctors who are corrupt giving you doctoring. I don't let that happen. I sit at the table and listen to my family and over a dinner talk about how their mind is literally what the television is telling them to say to me. It's never their own thoughts. It's never them dissecting the situation. Research the video on YouTube, if it's not already blocked, called Out of the Shadows. It was a Hollywood, celebrity stuntman who would do stunts for the biggest names in Hollywood. And he came out of the woodworks, and he broke his back and his pelvis and couldn't do it anymore. And he went to a doctor who was like, hey, man, I want to pray for you, this lady. And she was like, can I say a prayer for you? And he kind of goes on in his episode to explain how he's like, wow, you're either a fucking nut job or you really believe in this. And she goes, you know what? She goes, who do you think, fixes all these little kids when they're sacrificed or raped or murdered or their jaws busted out from sexual intercourse? And who do you think's fixing these little kids' legs and putting them back together and fixing their pelvic bones from all this Hollywood and politician elitist underground? It's a huge blood cult, actually. Skull and crossbones, secret societies, just huge blood cults. And this information is very unique. It's you got to be careful with this stuff, you know. I watched another video. I didn't even want to click on it because they said if you clicked on it and you started researching some of the things that we're talking about in the video, that you know, you could get arrested. It's illegal. So I'm just thinking, like, how is there stuff on the internet where you can go to like these modeling agencies and look up these models and look up clothes with the models, and I forget what the site was, it started with an L, but if you put the word Kim in between the search link, it'll pull up all the kids wear, and there's like naked kids just right there online, and it's for like elitism and politicians and people who are emancipated and have full protection from our law, which is fraud, because law is just regulation, code, and guideline. It's UCC code. The law is not what police and courts tell you it is. The law is God's 10 commandments. So they're really playing games with your mind when it comes to these things. You know what I mean? You don't have your seatbelt on. You know how many times people tell me that shit? You don't have your seatbelt on? So I'm hurting Earth? Like, dude, wow. You know what I mean? I crossed the street, looked both ways. Oh, I didn't walk in the lines on the road like a sheeple, obeying like a slave. Now I go to jail. Like, come on. False allegations. Someone says something bad about you, but it didn't really happen, and you're guilty until proven innocence. You believe in this way of life? It's corrupt. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, go look up the Georgia Guidestones, where there's 8 different languages explaining how they want to reduce the entire Earth's population down to 500,000. That's a reduction rate in our population of 99%. You think that you're going to be saved? I would just get right with God. You know what I'm saying? If we don't help the masses wake up, i.e., every person walking around with a face mask believing this shit is controlled, and they don't even know it. They think they're doing